Can you appreciate the vibes that I have curated for the studio today? If it feels like you're in the club, then I've done my job. So, hey, what's up? This will be my last video of the year, and I wanted to end on something fun, something enjoyable, and I haven't talked about music in what feels like a long time, so I'm very happy to be talking about music again, and I'm very excited for this video. I've been doing a lot of rankings lately, and if you haven't seen them, go check them out. They're pretty good. But I thought that I'd end on this one. Before I get into this video, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed, liked, shared, watched the video. It really means a lot, and I'm so very grateful for all of the support. I started this channel this year, and this is not my first time posting or making content on YouTube, but this is my first time making different content and videos outside of my other channel, which I will leave a link in the description for that. Definitely subscribe to my other channel. 2024 is going to be great. I'm going to have content like crazy, and I'm going to have a lot more stuff out, especially music stuff. So please stay tuned for that. I listened to a lot of music this year, similar to my two previous videos. I want to talk about the music that I listened to this year. However, there is a catch for this one. I will only be talking about records that came out in 2023, because if I list all of the music that I listened to that did not come out this year, plus the music I listened to that came out this year, this video would be entirely too long. I've already decided that I don't think I'm going to have any videos under 20 minutes. I'm going to be talking about the records that I listened to this year, and I will be ranking them in the tier list, and it kind of feels repetitive after my last 3 videos. I won't be doing as many tier lists in succession in the future. Instead of going chronologically, I'm going to start with the albums that I liked the least, and then I'm going to work it up to my favorite, and then I will list my favorites and then my favorite album last. Please subscribe, hit the like, subscribe, and notification button. Thank you so much. Before you see the end of the video, I want you to type down in the comments what you think my favorite album of the year is gonna be. Let's get into this ranking. Similar to the other videos, I'm just gonna explain this ranking really quickly, and I'm gonna start at the bottom. So this tier, this is for projects that I did not like, I wouldn't listen to again. I just wasn't feeling it. That self-explanatory. This next tier, it was cool. These are albums that maybe I only listened to once, or maybe I listened to them mainly when I was cleaning or completing other tasks and I just wanted something to listen to. They were cool, they were nice, not my favorite, and I couldn't recite it word for word, bar for bar. But again, they were cool. This next tier, liked a good amount. This is like essentially the B tier, and these are for albums that I enjoyed and that I put on quite frequently. And again, they weren't my favorite, but it was more than I just played something casually because I needed something to listen to while folding my laundry. It was something that I voluntarily wanted to listen to and want to engage in and recite the lyrics and things like that. This tier really enjoyed. It's basically A tier. These are projects that were on repeat all the time. These projects were played out. They definitely showed up on my Spotify Wrapped. This last tier, album of the year, basically my S tier. These are albums that were my favorite projects of the year. I will be putting multiple albums in this tier. However, I will be putting my favorite album of the year in this tier last. So again, make your predictions now before you get to the end of the video. Don't cheat. Before I actually get into the ranking, I'll just explain my Spotify Wrapped really quickly. I was going to talk about it when it came out, but I feel like it wasn't enough material to record a full video, so I'll just discuss it really quickly. So for 2023, my minutes listened was 28,154. It says I was in the top 13% of listeners worldwide. My top genres were rap, pop, urban, Latino, alternative R&B, and Afrobeats. My SoundTown was Berkeley, USA. My top song was Music Sessions Volume 53. Number 2 was Too Many Nights. Number 3 was Raindrops. Number 4 was Die Hard, Kendrick Lamar. And number 5 was Fantasy, Kali Uchis and Don Toliver. This feels pretty accurate. I thought Metro Boomin was going to be number 1, but not mad at it. My top artist, I was surprised by this, but then I was like, oh, I know why, which I'll tell you in a second. My top artist was Beyonce. I was kind of confused. I didn't think I listened to that much Beyonce for her to be my top artist, and it says I have 1,256 minutes listened, and I was in the top 1% of listeners worldwide, which that was surprising to me. I was like, oh wow, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Beyonce, but I didn't know I listened that much. But you know what it was? I listened to all of the albums this year, and then cause I wanted to rank them. I came up with my own ranking of the albums and of the songs, and I have my top 10 favorite songs. That's what it was. I listened to all of the albums, and then I listened to Beyonce on top of that. So that's probably what it was. My peak listening month was August. I saw the concert in August, Renaissance. So speaking of Renaissance, if you haven't seen my Renaissance World Tour vlog, go check it out. My second artist was Metro Boomin, which that's who I thought was going to be number one because of Heroes and Villains and the Spider-Man soundtrack. My third top artist was Bad Bunny, which I was kind of surprised. I didn't think that actually, no, I'm not surprised. My top artist last year was Bad Bunny, and he's number 3 this year. So I'm a little surprised. My fourth top artist is Pink Panthers. I was surprised by this. My fifth artist was Rosalia, which again surprised me. I didn't think I listened to that much Rosalia. I thought I listened to the most Rosalia. I thought I listened to her a lot last year, which I did, because that's when Motomami came out, and that's when I saw her in concert. The first project I will be talking about is A Great Chaos by Ken Carson. I found Ken Carson on Spotify. I don't remember what I was doing, but you know how Spotify has a lot of different ways of making you discover people. So I was just scrolling and I saw this, and I think I had heard his name once or twice before. I said, let me check it out. This is the only album on the list that I'm including that I didn't finish. If I included all the albums that I listened to that came out this year that I didn't finish, this video would be extra long, but I don't like to do these things without finishing something in completion. I feel that it's not fair. Also, some of these things I only listened to once, so when I talk about them, this isn't like a definitive ranking. This is just how I felt and how I feel now. Over time, I'll probably feel different about a lot of these albums, and they might change, they might join different places on the list. I don't know. Also, one last thing. Sorry to keep doing this to you. I swear I'm going to start this video. I just want to say really quickly, I don't believe that anything can be judged after the first listen, and some of these albums I only listened to once for various reasons, and some I listened to a lot, but I feel that these things change over time, and I feel that people's opinions on things change over time, and I know that over time I will feel different about each and every single one of these most of these projects I'll probably feel different about. So this isn't like an end all be all. If a project that you really loved gets ranked and it was cool, it doesn't mean it was trash. It doesn't mean I didn't like it. It doesn't mean it wasn't good. This is just how I feel about it currently, and I'll probably feel different, but I'm not someone who believes that you can completely and fairly rank and judge something after a first listen without having time to sit and marinate in it. There are some projects that I've heard over the years that I didn't like at first, and now I love them, and there are, I think, a few on this list that I didn't like at first and that I really like now. So I just wanted to make that clear. This is the only project in this list that I didn't listen to fully. I will tell you why I included it. I did not like this project. I couldn't finish it. That's why I didn't finish. I could have, but I just didn't want to. I was like, you know what? That's enough. I think I got like 5 or 6 songs in, and I just was like, I can't do it anymore. I don't know. It was giving me like, this artist to me is similar to a Playboi Carti type. I like Playboi Carti to an extent. However, this gave me I wasn't feeling it. So for that sake, this is going in nah, because I didn't finish it. And I don't want to, but you know what? I might revisit it in the future. Who knows? But I wasn't feeling it. So that was the only album that will be going in this tier. So next I'm going to move up to It Was Cool, Hood's Hottest Princess. This is by Sexy Red. I learned who Sexy Red was this year. I don't remember when I listened to this. It was fine. I only listened to it once and I don't really remember it, but I feel that there were 2 to 3 songs that I liked. It was fine, and that's really all I have to say about it. So I'm gonna put it in It Was Cool. This next one is Raw. This is by the City Girls. I just want to say really quickly, I have to show appreciation for the cover because I really like the cover, and it's giving me early 90s vibes. I think the cover came together pretty well. So I'm not someone who listens to the City Girls frequently, but I thought I'd just check it out because why not? I'd be checking stuff out. It was cool. This is so boring. I'm sorry. It was fine. It had, I was moving and there were some songs that I enjoyed and they were cool. I'm gonna put it It Was Cool, and then I'm gonna put it ahead of Sexy Red. I don't know if I can show this on YouTube, and also I guess I didn't download the proper picture. I'm not sure if this was an LP or an EP, but it's here. So earlier this year, Miss Isis Spices released a project. I like Ice Spice. I like some of the Ice Spice songs. This project, I will admit, at first I didn't like it. I felt underwhelmed, but I heard a few of the songs from the project outside of the project. I liked them better than when I first listened. Like I said at the beginning of the video, there are a lot of things that I do not like first watch, first listen. This is probably just one of those things. I'll put it here. This next project, Trip 21 by Chris Palace. This is another one of those projects that I kind of found just scrolling through Spotify. I can't remember what I was doing, but I know I was doing some sort of task. I think I was doing homework actually when I listened to this project. It was actually kind of good. I had never heard of this person before, and I heard one of the songs and I was like, hey, I like it. So I went to their discography and I saw they put out an album this year, and I was like, hey, let me check it out. I liked it. It was fun. It was cool. It's reggaeton, so if you like reggaeton, then you would like this, and that's really all I have to say, and I enjoyed it. So I'm gonna put this one, I'm gonna put it here. Again, similar to the last project, this is just one of those things that I found that I was just scrolling and I found this and I said, hey, let me put it on while I'm doing this thing. I listened to this album quite a few times while doing homework and other things. It's R&B, and if you like R&B, then you'll like this. It's cool. I'm gonna put it here. Hemlock Springs is someone that I discovered through TikTok. There was a song, Girlfriend, that went viral. I listened to it and I liked it, and I heard the songs that came after Girlfriend, and actually my favorite song by Hemlock Springs is Suffer the Blight. That song and that music video is crazy, so definitely go check it out. I would say I've been a fan of Hemlock Springs since the beginning. I did listen to this project when it came out. I think it's really cool to see like a small independent artist really make their own path. It's really inspiring to see. If I'm being honest, I did only listen once. I am putting this in It's Cool. However, I'm only putting it there because I listened to it once, and that's really even if I listened to it twice, it would definitely go in the next tier. I think this cover is really cool and very interesting, and I think it's very representative of her music and her sound. So like I said, it's going here because I only listened to once. I do not know why this file is called this, but I'm not changing it because like I said, I'm #real and I'm lazy. This album by Tinashe. First of all, this album cover is incredible because Tinashe is so pretty. Look at this photo. Look at her smile. Like, isn't she just like so pretty? Like, she has one of those smiles that makes you want to smile and makes you feel happy. I do have a favorite song off of it, which is Needs, which is probably everybody's favorite song, but Call Me Basic, that music video and the song, great, and I love it. I'm putting this in C just because I only listened to it, I think like maybe less than 5 times. If you played some of the songs, I would recognize them as you played it, but I don't think I played it enough for me to put it in another tier. So I'm gonna put it in It Was Cool, but I'm gonna put it here. This is very close. This is not my favorite album cover, but that's not really any of my business. This isn't my album, so I listened to this album the day it dropped, and I listened to it a few times. I don't think I've listened to the album in full in a few months, but I have definitely, I listened to that one song that everybody listens to off the album that I'm not gonna repeat right now. I listened to that like pretty much daily. That's my favorite song off the album. This album was cool, so for that reason, I'm gonna put it in It Was Cool. This project I only listened to once, and that's why it's going in this tier, but I know it's because Burna Boy's Love Dominique, that album for me is always on repeat. I have run Love Dominique into the ground. Really, it's just I listened to Love Dominique so much that I only listened to this once. The one time I did hear it though, I did like it. That's all I have. I'm sorry. Is this boring? Am I boring you? I probably should have talked about this earlier, but I'm gonna put I Told Them right here just because I remember more from these two than I do from this one. I know that I said that this tier was for a lot of different things, including albums that I only listened to once. However, there is a caveat to that statement. This is one of those projects that I only listened to once. However, this had a more lasting impact on me. I love Miley Cyrus. I have loved Miley Cyrus since her Hannah Montana days. Plastic Hearts, that album, when it came out, I ran it into the ground. Plastic Hearts is such a good album, and I feel that it's very underrated. If you like Miley Cyrus and you haven't listened to Plastic Hearts, please do. Endless Summer Vacation. I listened to this in the summertime. Feels very appropriate for an album of the summer. Flowers, obviously, was the lead single. I mean, it's a good song and I like it. That's all I can really say. This project was good. I liked it. And like I said, I only listened to it once. I liked it better in my opinion. And this just feels like a better project in my opinion. So that's why it's going in this tier. Earlier this year, Chloe, or Miss Bailey, if you're nasty, released a project in pieces. Like I said in my last video when I was talking about Chloe Bailey, I have been a fan for a long time and I really love Chloe Bailey and I love her music. When I heard this album was coming out, I was like, oh yeah, let me check it out. And I remember this album came out, I think around the time of The Little Mermaid. So I was like, oh yeah, let me check it out. Cool. So I will say this album, I feel like I have to include some bias when it comes to talking about Chloe Bailey. I definitely have bias. I did not like every single song on the album, but there are a few songs that I really enjoy. And there are some songs that I didn't like at first that I love now. For example, Worried, I wasn't feeling it at first, but now I sing it all the time. And literally today, my sister and I were just singing Body Do because it's a great song. I'll say my favorite song off of this album is probably Feel Me Cry. Well, okay, at first it was I Don't Mind just because I like the groove of I Don't Mind. However, I feel that Feel Me Cry, it's just one of those where you can sing like this and swing. And I feel that any song that can make you do that is really good. So it's one of those that gets you in your feels, you know, you want to grab onto something and look somebody in their eyes and tell them how you feel. So shout out to Chloe Bailey. I wish I could have seen her on tour. Let me tell y'all something. I had tickets to see Chloe. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that the concert venue was 3 hours away from, almost 4 hours. It was like 3.5 hours from where I lived. And it was on a Monday, I think, or a Sunday or something like that. I spent the money on the tickets and I couldn't even go. I can't tell you how sick I was. I was so sick. Chloe Bailey, run it back. Hit the DMV, please. Please don't go to wherever you, please, Norfolk, Virginia. Please don't go to Norfolk. That's far as frick. Please come to Baltimore or something. Thank you. I'm gonna put this album right here. I know there may be some confusion as to why this album is going in this tier. Let me tell you why. This was also another one of those albums that I only listened to once, and let me tell you why. When I listened to this album, I remember I was in the car and I was running errands. I had to go to the bank and then I had to pick my siblings up later or something. I don't know. I was doing stuff, but I don't think I was in the best of moods. I don't know what I was expecting, but I really liked Un Verano Sin Ti and I really liked the vibe. The whole vibe of that album was fun, lighthearted, summer. You know, it's in the title. I don't know what I was expecting from this album, and I guess I wasn't paying enough attention to the singles that came out or whatever, but yeah, I got in the car, I started playing this album. I was like kind of confused to the vibe because it didn't feel like Un Verano Sin Ti. It did not feel like El Último Tour del Mundo, and I was just kind of confused on the vibes. I was like, I don't really understand like what the vibes are. After listening to it, I think I was listening to some older Bad Bunny songs, and then I think I listened to like La Romana or something like that, and I was like, oh, I get it now. This album is giving me like Bad Bunny's first album vibes. If you haven't listened to that album, I think you wouldn't really recognize this kind of energy. And of course, like this, I'm not comparing this to his first album. This is obviously something new, but I really liked his first album, and it had like more, to me, in my opinion, it had more of a trap feel. Un Verano Sin Ti had one song that I thought was similar to his first album, which what was it? It was like, what was it, 16 something? Un Verano Sin Ti 2016. Yeah, that was a song. That was a song that reminded me of his first album. Nadie sabe lo que va a pasar mañana. This one, I feel bad putting it here, but like I said, I only listened to it once, and I again have to point out bias because the only reason it's not here is because I love Bad Bunny so much. I had never listened to Troye Sivan before 2023. I have known of Troye Sivan for many years. I know that he came from YouTube. I had never listened to any of his music. Someone posted a clip from the Rush music video on Twitter, and I saw it, and they were talking about the choreography, which if you haven't seen the Rush video for Troye Sivan, please go watch it because that's a really good music video, and the dancing, the choreography, especially between those four guys, it was so good and so entertaining and so enjoyable to watch, and I watched it multiple times over. I don't know what kind of music I thought he made, but I thought he was kind of like a Joji-esque, Mitski-esque singer. I thought he had like slow songs. I don't know if that makes sense, but, and I don't listen to Joji, and I've only heard like one Mitski song, so I could be totally spreading misinformation. However, the music that I heard was not what I was expecting at all. In my last video, in my last two videos actually, I did talk about films that surprised me in a good way, and that's why they were ranked so high. I love things that surprise me. Rush, I mean, it gives you a rush. I really like house music too. This is another one of those projects that I only listened to once. However, it was really, I just remember it being really good. And if you played some of the songs, I might be able to recognize a few of them. I thought it was very nice and I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed Troye Sivan's singing style. And like I said, I had never heard this man's music before. I'd only seen his face. So I was very pleased with what I got. For those reasons, I'm going to put it here. Next, I'm going to talk about this amazing album. Now, I will say I listened to this album a few times, but I listened to it back when it came out. I haven't listened to it since, but this is Data by Tiny. Tiny is a producer. Love Tiny. As someone who makes music, as a producer myself, I wear many hats, guys. I can really appreciate when producers put out their own long project. I have no words. Tiny is so talented, and I love everything that I hear from him. He's definitely an inspiration for me. And this album, Data, the first song off the album is crazy. And there are like the first couple songs, it's just like fire, 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 fire. So I don't know what else to say other than from what I remember, this album, I loved it. Data is going here. This next one, Saturno by Raulito. I listened to it when it came out. I listened to it quite a few times. This was also one of those projects that I listened to when it came out, and I listened to a little bit after it came out, but I haven't listened to it since. So I don't remember all of the songs off the top of my head. I will say my favorite one is Llevarate llamando contestar. My favorite song off this project is Lejos del Cielo. I will say there were some songs that I didn't like when on my first listen, especially the first single was Punto 40. I did not like it when it first came out, but after a few listens, I kind of loved it. But yes, this album was good. Playa Saturno, I listened to a few songs, but I didn't finish it. That's why it's not on this list. This album was very good and I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna put this right here. Young Thug dropped Business is Business. This was another one of those projects that I listened to on the day that it dropped, and I have listened to it quite a few times since it dropped, and I gotta say that first listen I like. I will say there was a version release that Metro Boomin had arranged, I believe, and I think I remember liking that arrangement more, because through the first listen, like it was cool, it was fine, but I liked Metro Boomin's arrangement more. But I play songs from this album pretty much daily. That's really all I have to say about it. I really liked it, I really enjoyed it, and I play it a lot. The Barbie movie came out this year, and so did the album. Now, I believe I explained this in my video. I'm someone who likes to listen to the soundtrack before the movie comes out, if the soundtrack is available before the movie comes out, unless it's some type of musical or unless it's a music-centered film, then I'll listen to the album. And I did the same thing with this album. I remember when the Pink Panthers song dropped, and I was like, oh, she's on the Barbie movie? Okay, that's cool, because she was on the Black Panther soundtrack too, so shout out to Pink Panthers. I'll be talking about her in just a little bit. Yeah, this album was really good. Dance the Night, Dua Lipa. I feel Dua Lipa has mastered the disco sound. When Future's Nostalgia came out, I listened to it the whole year. I think it came out early in the year. I listened to it the whole year, so I love Dua Lipa and I love her sound, and Dance the Night fits perfectly. Mark Ronson knows what he's doing. What else? Charlie XCX. That song was pretty good. I liked it. I'm Just Ken. I know a lot of people like to like things and then a few months switch up. I still like the song and I always liked it, and it's amazing. Ryan Gosling is great. Just all the songs in the album are pretty good and I like them. So yes, this was a very good album. I definitely played it outside of watching the movie. I would say my favorite song from the album is, I hate to say the popular answer again, but I'm looking here. Before I state my favorite, I will give honorable mentions to Choose Your Fighter, Angel, What Was I Made For, and I'm Just Ken. I feel that Barbie World also deserves an honorable mention because, I mean, it's Nicki Minaj and Miss Ice Spice, so, but Dance the Night, I'm sorry. It's Mark Ronson and Dua Lipa. I don't know what else to tell you. It's a great song. It was fire, and I like that it's one of those albums that I can listen to outside of watching the movie because it's so good. I made a video talking about Guts, and if you haven't seen it, then definitely go check it out. But I did say that this is an album that I would definitely be listening to. I wasn't lying. However, I haven't had time to revisit it. I was in school, you guys, and I'm out of school right now. I was very busy, okay? I didn't have the time, and I was working. Like I said, I'm out of school right now and I'm still working, but I got more time on my hands. That's why I'm pushing out this content. Again, I only listened to this album one time, but it's so high because I do remember listening to, well, okay, I listened to the whole album one time and then I listened to a few songs like 2 or 3 times. This album just had a lasting impact on me, and I felt that this project is really good, and I'm a huge Olivia Rodrigo fan. Some of these songs were like really, 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 really good, and they shocked me. I was like, wow, I'm here for it. I will say my favorite song is Get Him Back. Honorable mention to Ballad of Homeschool Girl, because that one was really good too. But Get Him Back, I listened to Get Him Back maybe a maximum of 3 times. But that song is so good. It's so good. Yeah, Guts was definitely it. And that's why going right here. As far as Don Toliver goes, I didn't listen to, I think he has 2 other albums. I didn't listen to those. I've listened to Don Toliver. Don Toliver to me was kind of like a Travis Scott-esque figure. By that I mean, I only listened to him in features, and he was always good in features. I just never checked out his own music, but not to say that his own music wasn't good. His what are those other songs? Like, some of his singles are really good, and I really love Don Toliver's sound, and I think that he has really shaped his own sound, and I love like his specific style and just his singing style, and I think that he has a very good ear too, because every song that I hear him in, it doesn't sound out of place or it doesn't sound weird. It sounds like he belongs in the song that he's in. I believe I checked this out because I was listening to Kali Uchis, and I was listening to Fantasy a lot, which it was in my top 5. So I was like, you know what, let me check out his music. And he released an album this year, so I was like, okay. I accidentally clicked on Lovesick Deluxe instead of the first one, so I just listened to that. And honestly, at first it was one of those albums that I put on kind of casually when I was doing tasks, but then I realized I liked it a lot, and I wanted to listen to it outside of just me doing casual tasks around the house or whatever. Luckily, I'm having with Tizo Touchdown. I was surprised that was not on my Spotify Wrapped, because at one point I was playing that song multiple times a day, every single day. Yeah, this album is really good. I really love the vibe, and I really love how well together it's put. I don't feel that it's repetitive, but it still flows well, and it has the same style. And yeah, I mean, it's it's really good, and I think Don Toliver is very talented. I think he has a good grip on his signature style and sound, and I think he's able to put things together very well. So that's gonna go here, and this will be the end of this tier. So now I'm moving on to the top 2 tiers. Now that I'm in this second to last tier, or second tier, however you want to put it, I will say this is an album that I only listened to once, and then I listened to a few, well, once all the way through, and then I listened to a few songs like twice. To be in this category right here is very, very, very impressive for a one full listen through. I will say, and I think I tweeted this, but I didn't listen to this album when it came out. I listened to it several months after it came out, and I didn't listen to it that long ago. But what I will say is I have loved Ray since Escapism. I had never heard of Ray before Escapism. I listened to it because it was kind of everywhere, but also it has 070 Shake on the song. I'm a huge Shake fan. I've loved Shake since when did Beyonce's Lion King album come out? 2019? I've been a fan since 2019, so I love 070 Shake. So I was like, okay, it's cool. It's got her on the song, and I love her. So let me listen to this, and let me see who this Ray person is. First of all, I just want to talk about Escapism really quickly. Escapism is, I don't think I've heard a song that has made me feel like Escapism has in a while. There are a few songs that come out every year that just like hit my music soul differently. There aren't really words to describe how it makes me feel. It's more than just it was really good. It made me feel some type of way, and it really just like like I said, I say music spirit, which it kind of sounds corny and stupid, but that's the only way I can describe it. I connected with the song on more than like a physical level, an emotional level. So it was a lot deeper than that. The instrumental, I don't know who produced it. I'm sure Ray had a part in producing it, because I know that she does that. And 070 Shake is, I know she has her hands in that and well. So it was probably both of them with some other people, but whoever produced it, everybody in the room deserves 10s. And honestly, while I'm talking about it, Escapism definitely deserved a nomination for Song of the Year. this video is not for me to talk about why or why not songs don't get nominated for Song of the Year, but I will say Escapism was robbed. I will say this album was robbed. Let me talk about it. So I listened to this album because I think I was listening to Escapism and I was like, oh, she released an album. Let me check it out. Now I was late and I was low-key sleeping because I think I heard maybe a month or two after this came out that it was out, and I was like, I'll check it out eventually. I will admit I was sleeping. I was absolutely I was sleeping on You, Ray, and for that I apologize. This album, first of all, Ray is so talented. She's so good at songwriting and telling stories and arranging and making things fit. Similar to Don Toliver, or what I just said about Don Toliver, I feel that Ray's style, and like I said, I just got introduced to the woman, so I'm not gonna act like I know her, but from what I heard throughout this album, I don't know how to put it. Vibe feels like the best term, but it just feels so well put together, and this is not an album that was made in somebody's garage in 2 weeks. This was something that took a lot of time and took a lot of energy, and something where you can hear the hard work, and you can hear this wasn't just your run-of-the-mill album just to put out whatever. I know this feels important. This feels big. That's why I have it in this category, because even though only having listened to the whole album once, there were a lot of things that I learned about Ray on this album that I never learned before, and I felt for Ray and some of the stories that she was telling. I was like, wow. And just this was deep, this was raw, this was art. She recently released, I think, a different version of this album. Let me see, I don't want to get it wrong. My 21st Century Symphony live at the Royal Albert Hall. Yes, I will definitely be checking that out. This album was so good. I have been raving about this album for 6 minutes, and I only listened to it once. That should just tell you how great it is. And this album was robbed for Album of the Year, and I'll stand on that. First album to go and really enjoyed. This next album is from another artist that I discovered this year. His name is Teezo Touchdown. I think I discovered this scrolling on Spotify. I think because I had never heard of Teezo Touchdown before. I saw like some videos or some pictures or something, and I thought his style was very interesting, so I was like, okay, let me check it out. I don't know how to describe this style other than like alternative pop or whatever, but Teezo Touchdown, you have to listen to his music to really understand the style of music and the delivery, but I feel that his delivery, his cadence, his style is very new and very fresh, and something that I personally have never heard before. I found myself being able to relate to a lot of the topics that he was talking about in his songs, and I enjoyed them a lot, and it was definitely something new, and I liked it. And I don't really know how else to describe it. Again, it was very new. I felt myself relating to a lot of the things that he was saying. You know, this is an album that is kind of genre-less, and it raises questions, and it makes you think about things, and it makes you feel things, and I don't know, it was very, very good, and I feel that I learned about the artist while listening to this album. And I love albums that I can listen to where I kind of get a sense of who you are / where you came from / what your motivations are / just I love getting to know things other than or past the surface level. So I really liked Impossible, Neighborhood, and Mood Swings. I couldn't pick a favorite, but I really liked those three. So it might not be for everybody. I think the style is just so different and fresh and unique, but I would definitely say give it a try. It's very good. I'm gonna put it right here. So I saved this as Moreword, and I saved the Moreword picture photo, but I think I actually listened to the original album more than the deluxe. This is Jordan Ward, by the way. Jordan Ward, he had an album come out this year. It's called Forward. Moreword is the deluxe. I think I listened to the original more than I listened to Moreword. I had never heard of Jordan Ward before this year, before listening to the album. It was, again, I was just scrolling on Spotify, and I was like, hey, who's that? You got a lot of listeners. Let me check you out. And to my surprise, I really, really enjoyed it. I feel that there aren't enough terms for subgenres of music, and I feel like we kind of just loop a lot of them together, which is, I feel like the term alt pop, it is applicable for many different styles and genres of music, but I feel that pop is a huge genre, but then alt pop is under, but it's still a huge genre, and there's many different genres under alt pop, and this feels like one of them, because it's got a lot of R&B influences, but it's kind of I don't know if I want to call it modern R&B. I don't know. It's like I said, it's something new, something fresh, and something that me personally I've never heard before. There were a lot of songs that I really liked. I really like his singing style, and I really like the style of his music, and I thought the project was put together very well. And I'll say my favorite song is White Crocs, and I really love the beat too. And I love that it's not really anything that I have heard before. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about this album, but I'm a fan of Jordan Ward now for sure, and I love his music. I love his voice and his style. So can you hello? Okay, there we go. Before I say anything about this album was robbed for album of the year, and I'm upset. But hold on, let me check real quick, because I hope this at least got best R&B album. I do not see any nominations for Kali Uchis this year. Robbed. I'll say it with my whole chest too. No bias. Robbed. But anyways, this is Kali Uchis. Her album Red Moon and Venus came out this year, and I was really excited because I love Kali Uchis, and I've loved her for a minute, and I loved her other album, Sin Miedo, in parentheses, Del Amor y Otros Demonios. And then I also listened to Isolation too, which was pretty good. But yes, Red Moon and Venus, Kali Uchis. I listened to this the day it dropped, and I remember when she dropped Moonlight, and I remember when she dropped I Wish You Roses, and that video was crazy. First of all, I haven't been talking about album titles. I haven't been talking about album covers. Look at this. This is crazy. And Kali Uchis, she's so pretty too. This is a great album cover. Anyways, yes, Red Moon and Venus. Kali Uchis just has like that like her music. I don't know how to describe her music other than like it just makes you want to do that, right? And it feels so airy and floaty, and I don't know how else to describe it. Like it feels good, you know? And it makes you feel like you're floating. Now I will say, Kali Uchis, not only does she have great music, but she's a great singer, and I think that she's very good at putting her vocals together, stacking vocals, background vocals, ad-libs. It all goes together well, and it really fills up the track, and I feel that she also has great production. I don't know who produces her music, and I'm pretty sure she has a hand in it, but all of her songs are really well produced, and I love her R&B style. I really love how she combines the R&B influences and the Latin influences in her music, and I love how she sings in Spanglish and she just switches back and forth, and I'm really excited for her album that's coming out next month, which I think I'm gonna react to that. I don't really know what else to say about this album other than I had it on repeat and I've been playing it throughout the whole year. Now I will say, first few months after this album dropped, I played the full album, but after, I just played singular songs that I liked, and you already saw this was in my Spotify. This was in my top 5, number 5, Fantasy with Don Toliver. And I will say, even though I played that the most, I think my favorite is, well, let me do some honorable mentions to Endlessly and Fantasy and All Mine. I have to say, my favorite is I Wish You Roses. I Wish You Roses is, I don't know, it's too good. This is words. I Wish You Roses is such a, and the fact that like it opens up okay, it's technically not the first song. The first song is In My Garden, but I Wish You Roses, was that the first, I can't remember if that was the first single or if it was Moon Knight, but I Wish You Roses really sets the tone for the rest of the album, and it's such a good opener. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, I feel like I Wish You Roses is a song that everyone would like, and I feel like Kali Uchis is an artist that everyone would enjoy. It feels universal. I don't know. I've been talking for 6 minutes. This video is already long, but that's all I have to say. Well, actually, that's a lie. I could say a lot more, but it'd just be a lot more. Wow, this song is good and amazing, and it makes you feel this, and la 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 la. So Kali Uchis goes there. Like I said, robbed. Kali Uchis was robbed, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to celebrate. So shout out to Kali Uchis. And I can't wait for the album to come out next month that I'm gonna react to, so stay tuned for that. I would have talked about this before Red Moon and Venus, but since it came out so recently, it came out in November, and Red Moon and Venus, I believe it came out back in March or something, and I haven't listened to the whole thing as much. I've just recently, this is all that I've been listening to recently, and basically, like, especially since it came out last month, I've really just been listening to, I think this is the only, like, full project that I've been listening to as of late, this and something else that I'll talk about in a little bit, but Heaven Knows, first of all, I will say Pink Panthers, Panthers. I am a fan. I've been a fan since the day that the album dropped. And what's funny about that is what was the song popping on TikTok? Just For Me, I believe. I had heard it quite a few times, and the day that I decided, oh, let me just go check her out since everybody's listening to her so much and her song is trending on TikTok, was the day that the album dropped, To Hell With It. And I thought that was funny, so I listened to it and I actually really loved it. And that first of all, the album is less than 20 minutes. I think it's like 18 minutes, girl. But you know what, whatever. I was like, all right, I'm fine with 18 minutes, whatever. I ran that album into the ground, okay? You saw I think that album came out 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. You know, whatever. I'm not talking about that album, but yes, I really loved To Hell With It, and it was I don't even want to call it an album. It's so short. That's my only problem with it. I loved every song, and honorable mention to is this song called 19? I think. Shout out to 19. I'm 19, and I feel you, girl. But yeah, that song that album was great. And honestly, until this album dropped, I played it, and I played it for a year straight, and then I lightened up a little bit, but it's just great. And I love Pink Panthers, and I love her signature UK style. And I know that Pink Panthers isn't the first to do like the UK garage music, but I had never really listened to UK garage before Pink Panthers, and I have since heard other UK garage, but I don't know. Pink Panther, I have bias, okay? I really love Pink Panthers, and I don't know, she's my favorite. But I also really love the fact that, like, I can tell that she uses autotune in her music and in her songs, but the way that I see it, I don't know Pink Panthers personally, and I'm not in the studio session, so I don't know what she's thinking. From my perspective, the way that it's used, I see it as a stylistic choice similar to T-Pain, and I can tell Pink Panthers does more than just sing. I can tell that she knows music theory. I can tell that she knows how to sing, and what I really appreciate about her music is, you know, she could just have the autotune on and do the UK garage and it can be fine, but I can tell that she knows music because the runs that she does and the backgrounds and the harmonies, her vocals are really well put together. And I'm not someone who dislikes autotune, but after a while it can get repetitive, and it just feels nice to hear something that has, in my opinion, more effort put into it and more thought behind it. But also, not everybody knows music. Not all singers or people who rap or whatever know music theory. Not all vocalists know music theory. So it's really nice to hear that the production is not something slight. The production is something that has a lot of thought into it. And what I really appreciate about this album, Heaven Knows, is first of all the cover. Can we talk about the cover really quick? The cover, I don't even know how to describe this, but Pink Panthers I've seen a consistent like early 2000s vibe from her, and this feels like it's within the same vibe. And I don't know, this feels very appropriate. I don't even know what to call it. This is like abstract, and I don't know, like this, I don't know, the carpet, the velvet, the dove, the couch, the white silky dress, the wind of the hair. I don't know. I'm not like I don't know. I'm probably not qualified to be speaking about it, but I mean, the album cover is amazing. But what I can appreciate about this album is that it doesn't feel out of place for her music, and she has had quite a few singles since the last album, so I've heard her music progress. But what I can hear in this album is it sounds fresh, and it's still got that same vibe, that same style, but she's trying new things, and I hear new sounds that I really enjoy that I've never heard before, but that excite me. I have been waiting for Pink Panthers to drop a project since the first one dropped, and I have been very satisfied with this one. I really, really, really love this album. I love her sound, and I'm really excited to see how her music progresses over time, because I feel like she just keeps getting better. This album is definitely better than the last one, and the last one was great. So I'm really excited. I really love her style and what she does, and yeah, I can that's really all I can say. I mean, everything else would just be repeating what I've already said. Before I do favorites, let me do an honorable mention. I like Nice to Meet You. I really do. I don't listen to Central C, but he's cool. I just realized I spelled it Heaven Knows. I don't know why I thought she did it, because she was from the UK. It's spelled heaven, like VEN. Anyways, you know what? I think this is one of those albums where my favorite will not be a constant and it will change. I don't know. Mosquito's really good, but I'll say just to not be basic, I'll say Feel Complete, because I actually really love Feel Complete, and when Mosquito came out, I listened to it so many times. But since I've been listening to the whole album in full, I gotta be fair, So I'm gonna say feel complete. Gotta put it up here. I know this looks weird, but I really don't want this video to get taken down, so I just I did a little Photoshop. This is the final album of this tier. This album is by Janelle Monáe. I've been a fan for a very long time. I am really someone who loves an album opener, especially if it's like, if it gets me hype and if it makes me feel good and it's more than just, okay, that was nice, and I'm inclined to love the album. I listened to this album the day it came out, the day it dropped, and I will say, for about a week, this is all that I played, and I haven't played the full album in a while. It was very good, and I will say, like, this album, it has a lot of Caribbean influences, and it feels very summery. That's all I can say. You really have to listen to the album and you'll see for yourself. But yeah, this album is really good, and I think Janelle Monáe is very talented. I mean, I think if you're someone who knows how to act, sing, and well, triple threat. First of all, triple threat. Janelle Monáe is absolutely a triple threat. This album is great. I really love the music, and I love Janelle's artistry. I can really appreciate when someone knows their art and how to work and how to curate the art in a way that's consistent and that works with what they're able to do and what they're able to work with. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I mean, I just said the same thing about Pink Panthers and Don Toliver and Ray. Like, they are people who know their sound and know how to work well with their sound. I love an album that has transitions. Now, an album doesn't need to have transitions in order for me to love it. However, when it does, it just makes me love it so much more. I want to give an honorable mention to Know Better, because when I first listened to it, I peeped something and I looked it up just to see if I was right, because I have a good ear. I can hear things. There's a sample. There is a, what's the sample? The sample's from Darkest Light, Lafayette Afro Rock Band. Listen to the song and then listen to what I just told you. Go to Genius. You'll hear it. So definitely honorable mention to Know Better, Water Slide, Lipstick Lover, and Float, and Champagne Y'all not gonna get me in trouble. My favorite song is Phenomenal featuring Doechii. Let me tell you why real quick. I love a feel-good song, and I love a song that makes you feel good, and I love a song that tells you to feel good, and a song that's positive and motivating. And I love Doechii. I sing it all the time. I'm so glad that this got nominated for Album of the Year, because I knew when I listened to it, I knew it was a contender, but I had a feeling. After the first listen, I was like, this deserves an Album of the Year nomination, and I'm so glad it got one, and I'm so glad Janelle Monáe got nominated, because they deserve it for real. So shout out to Janelle Monáe. The Age of Pleasure, yes, goes here. This will end my really enjoyed tier. On to the last tier. These last few projects that I'm going to talk about that you see right here are going to be an Album of the Year. These are my favorite albums that I listened to this year, and one of these is my favorite. So before I tell you what my favorite album was, I want you to guess. Last chance. Don't cheat. So I told you that Metro Boomin was my second top artist of the year. That is because of Heroes and Villains and the Spider-Verse soundtrack. Now, I did not include Heroes and Villains for the same reason that I did not include SOS by SZA, which is they did not come out this year, and I wanted to be fair, but I would have. They came out late in 2022, but I have been streaming them in 2023. The Spider-Verse soundtrack, the reason why I'm putting this in S tier is because I have bias, okay? I have bias. I really love Metro Boomin. He's currently my favorite producer, and there's so many things that I can say about him. I'm not going to say too much. All I will say is, like I said, I love listening to movie soundtracks, and I remember when the first Spider-Verse came out, and I listened to that soundtrack before I saw the movie. I was really excited when I heard Metro Boomin was doing the soundtrack. Now, I will admit, remember earlier when I said there have been projects that I heard that I didn't like, and I liked way after? I'm going to be real with you guys, and I'm going to admit it. Having listened to the Spider-Man or the Spider-Verse soundtrack so many times, the original one, I listened to that album and I listened to that soundtrack outside of the movie, and that was something that was in my constant rotation. So I was very used to hearing that album and the sound and vibe of that album, and when I first heard this one, it didn't feel the same. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like it overall. There are a few songs that I liked, but I disliked more songs than I liked, and I didn't like it when it first came out, and I was really disappointed in myself, because I thought that I would like it because it's Metro Boomin, and I know that he never misses to me. But I will say, even after the second listen, I liked it more, but after a few listens and after streaming it all summer until now, I will say I love this album, and I don't love every single song, but I love a lot of them, and it's really good. And I really love how it was put together. And I think Metro Boomin is very good at arranging things. I think he has a good ear, and he's very smart. He's not just someone who presses buttons on a computer. He knows things. He knows music theory. He knows how to arrange. He knows how to put different styles together. He knows how to put features together. He knows how to make things work. And that's what I can really appreciate about him as a producer. And he is an artist in his own right. And I was also just really proud that he was able to get the soundtrack. This isn't a small thing at all. This is a very big thing and a very big accomplishment, and I'm just very proud. And also, he voiced his own character and his own original character in the Spider-Verse, which was really cool. So I think all of those things put together is why I'm putting it in Album of the Year. Yeah, honorable mentions really quickly before I play my favorite. Honorable mentions will go to Annihilate, Silk and Cologne, and Calling, and Self-Love. I like that song. However, my favorite song from the album, Metro Boomin presents Spider-Verse. I've been a Paramore fan for quite a while, but I don't think that I have ever listened to a Paramore album when it came out, like I did with this one. And I heard that they were releasing an album, so I was like, yeah, let me check it out. It's Paramore. I love Paramore. But I had only listened to singular songs. I had never listened to a full project before. I think I listened to maybe like half of Riot, but then I just listened to songs here and then. I never listened to a full project. So I decided that I would check this one out. And I remember when the single came out, This Is Why, the title track, I loved it. There's a signature Paramore sound within the many different songs that they have and the many different styles, but it all goes together, and this project feels like it was put together very well. It feels like there was a lot of thought that went behind it, and there are interviews and things that you can look at, and you can hear about the motivations and thoughts that went into This Is Why. But the title track is great, and the title track really, I feel that it does a good job of kind of leading you to where the album is going to take you. Also, the music video was pretty cool, and yeah, like I said, these people are very talented, and they really know how to put something together. Honorable mentions for Figure 8, This Is Why, In the News, and Big Man Little Dignity, my favorite. Listen to the album, please. It was, oh my god, it was so good. Shout out to Paramore. Like I said with Don Toliver before, Travis Scott was someone who I'd only listened to in the context of features. I had never listened to a full Travis Scott project before. I've been checking out stuff this year, so I was like, okay, let me check it out. I don't have any previous reference to what Travis Scott's old sounded like. I will say it's in S tier just because of how innovative it was, and I can appreciate the new sound. And there were a lot of, I would say the majority of songs on this album were things that I hadn't heard from Travis Scott before, and new material that I hadn't heard when it comes to certain styles and just different things like that. I'm not a huge Travis Scott fan, but I do think Travis Scott works best when he works with people, and I can appreciate the features on this album, and I really think they went together really well. I can really appreciate when someone tries something new. Even if I don't like it, I can see that you're trying to grow your art, and I can see that you're not trying to stay stagnant. Some artists choose to stay the same, and that's your choice, but I get bored so quickly, and I can't. So I guess I do have a favorite. Honorable mentions will go to Telekinesis, Love, I Know, Fiend, and Hyena. My favorite song is actually the one that came as a surprise to me. And before I play it, I'll just say really quickly, I don't really know what happened with Spotify. I think it crashed a little bit when the album dropped, because I remember wanting to listen to it when it dropped, and I was only going to listen to, I don't even think I was going to listen to it because I think I had work in the morning, but I just wanted to like see it. And I went to Travis Scott's Spotify page, and I couldn't see anything but one single, and I clicked on the single, and I was like, single? And then immediately I was like, you know what, it's probably crashing. Let me just listen to the single. Let me go to bed. To my surprise, it had Beyonce on it. Beyonce was a feature on Travis Scott's song. That confused the mess out of me. I was confused. I was like, but then it was crazy because this album dropped in the middle of Beyonce's tour, and by the time I saw her on tour, Del Resto was added in the interlude, which I thought was like, I was like, this woman, I'm not gonna lie, I did not like the song when I first heard it, and I don't think I liked it until like my fourth listen, to be honest. I was very confused, and hearing it within the context of the Renaissance tour, it makes sense and it fits well. But on this song or on this album, I wasn't really feeling it. And especially the arrangement, I just thought it was very weird and out of place. And I don't know, I thought it was too weird. I thought it was too weird. But let me tell you, I love the song now and I be singing it all the time. So I've been talking about this album for 10 minutes. Good God Almighty. Yep, Utopia goes up here. Shout out to Travis Scott. Before I talk about this final album, I just want to say a few things about Victoria Monet. I have been a fan of Victoria Monet since, let me not get this wrong, 2019 when I heard Monopoly from Ariana Grande, because I like Ariana Grande, and I was like, oh, who's this black girl? And then I remember listening, the first Victoria Monet song I listened to was FUCK, which I don't know if that's a deep cut or if that's a I don't know what you call it, like a cult classic or something. I don't know what the term would be, but I really like that song. And I remember hearing it. I remember hearing that song. I had never heard anything like that before. It was very sultry, but it had those smooth late night sultry R&B vibe. And I was like, ooh, and she's like, is your favorite color blue? And I was like, okay. And it was very smooth the whole time. It was very smooth, but it was like something like something that would, I keep doing this, but that's all I can say. Anyways, then I remember listening to Jaguar, the first one. I think I listened to it. I can't remember if I listened to it in 2020 or 2021, but I listened to it maybe a few times, but I didn't frequent the album. I didn't go back too many times, but I did listen to, what's that song, Can't Help Falling in Love. I remember watching On My Mama on this TV behind me, and first of all, shout out to Sean Bankhead. Okay, he's great. I remember watching the video, and I think I listened to the song before I watched the video. Let me talk about the song real quick. On My Mama, I didn't know it was a what would you call it, like remix? Is it a remix technically? I guess I didn't know it sampled it sampled the original song. So when I first listened to it, or when I first heard about On My Mama, I had heard that it sampled the original song, and I'm not gonna lie, there have been a lot of samples recently that have just not been it. To my surprise, I was messing with it heavy, and I actually think that On My Mama is the best sample that has come out recently. Obviously, the original is a classic, and I knew of the original song before listening to On My Mama by Victoria, but I mean, this song is hard, and I think the production is great, because some of these samples nowadays, all you do is what I personally feel is being done in the studio. Oh, you like the song? Cool. Let me pitch it up, maybe chop out 2 to 4 parts of it. Let me put it over an 808 and a hi-hat and a clap and a kick, and let's go. That's it. Not saying that you can't make a great song like that, but I'm just saying, it's just the other ones have felt so lazy. In this song, I can tell there's layers to it. Okay, the production is crazy. When the album dropped, I listened to it when it dropped, the day it dropped, or at 12 o'clock. Smoke wasn't my favorite song, and I didn't like it as much then. I like it more now, and the Smoke reprise is pretty nice, and it's pretty like smooth. But I love this album also has great transitions, and it's not a lot, but it's a few little details that just elevate the listening experience. Smoke reprise into Party Girls is such a good song. Like I said, the production on this album is so good. I can, like, all of these songs, they were not made in a day. Okay, I can't explain to you how much I love good production. Party Girls, and I feel this is a really great feature. And like I said, I really love when things are put together very well and things are curated very well. And then All Right. Now, I did not know that it was produced by Kaytranada at first, but then when I heard it was Kaytranada, I was like, oh, this makes sense. I was not expecting a Kaytranada type song on this album from Smoke Reprise, and Party Girls. I did not expect this kind of vibe, but I love it, and I love that I didn't expect it, and I love this song. It's such a feel good, like, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like nobody's gonna take advantage of me. I know who I am, and I'm confident in who I am, and that's really what it is. Cadillac, A Pimp's Anthem, smooth. What did she say? We keep it smooth like a Cadillac. Ain't that what she said? I love how much female agency. How does it make you feel? It's my favorite song on the album, okay? Actually, I have two favorite songs because I can't pick one. This is How Does It Make You Feel is one of them. I think How Does It Make You Feel is very good. First of all, I'm a music nerd, okay? I know a lot of music theory and I know a lot of nerdy stuff, all right? I love songs that have different time signatures, but this song has two different time signatures, what I can really appreciate. The verses are in 3/4 time and then the chorus is in 4/4 time. And I really love that change of pace. And like I said, the production is, the production for I don't need to talk about the production of every song because the production on literally every single song is so good. It's so layered. There's so much attention and detail poured into it. But there's just something about How Does It Make You Feel, like the lyrics along with the instrumental and Victoria's voice. Victoria has such a rich voice. And I know she's talked about her voice changing since her pregnancy. Her voice is so rich. That's really the only way that I can describe it. Again, this is one of those things where you're only really gonna hear what I'm talking about sonically. I can't really describe it to you. You just really need to listen to it. But if you want to listen to the richness and fullness of Victoria's voice, listen to How Does It Make You Feel. I'm the Woman's pretty cool. The next song, Stop. When I first listened to it, I thought it was funny. I don't know. It's a funny title and theme for a song. Not only is the song really funny, it's like a groove. It's like a mid groove, Are any of the things that I'm saying making any sense? My other favorite song on this album, Hollywood. I don't know how the heck she got Earth, Wind and Fire as a feature. That's crazy to me. Hollywood is such a good song, and I like Earth, Wind and Fire. They're great, obviously. And what I love about this song is this song feels timeless, similar to How Does It Make You Feel. Hollywood feels so timeless. Hollywood feels like it could have come out when Earth, Wind and Fire were in their prime, you know what I mean? When this album came out, I had a feeling it was going to be nominated for Album of the Year because I know that the Grammys, they like to play, especially with black people, with people of color. But you know what? Victoria Monet has been getting a lot of flowers recently. Someone said something like Victoria Monet, not only has she been getting a lot of praise from people in the industry, but it's from big artists and big names who have been in this industry for many years and who have weight to their name. Goodbye feels appropriate, and it kind of makes me sad because this album to me it's only 35 minutes. It feels short to me, so Goodbye makes me sad. But Goodbye is also, it's very smooth. It's very I think the song is appropriate. I mean, it's not only like the album closer, but it feels appropriate. It feels that it feels like it's wrapping up things very nicely. And again, the production, that's all I gotta say, the production. This album really wraps up nicely with Goodbye, and Goodbye is actually very good. I love albums that are good from start to finish, especially when the last song is good, because sometimes there are albums, and there are albums on this list that I feel that way, that I feel this way about too. Like some albums, they start off really strong, or they may not start off strong, but the middle chunk is very good, but then the ending, I can't listen to the last 5 songs of an album because they just lose me. Goodbye is very great, and you know what? I'll give an honorable mention. I'm gonna give an honorable mention to every single other song other than How Does It Make You Feel in Hollywood, because they're just that good.
There's nothing left. You'll be on my right. Be it rain or shine. You're forever mine.
I really don't know what else to say other than this album is not only my favorite from the year, because there's a difference between favorite and best, in my opinion. And my favorite is not always the best, and the best is not always my favorite. But I will say this is one of those instances where both are interchangeable. My favorite is the best, and the best is my favorite. This was my best album of 2023, Jaguar 2. Shout out to Victoria Monet. Shout out to Hazel Monet. Jaguar 2, album of the year, my album of the year. And you know what? Well, actually, I was gonna say something about the Grammy nominations, but again, I'll make a video on the Grammys. This is my tier list, and this is my last video of the year. So I want to know what your favorite album of 2023 was. Was it one of these? Was it something that I didn't mention? If it was, please let me know. I will try to check it out. This is gonna be my last video for 2023. This is gonna wrap up the year for me. So if you made it to the end of the video, I just want to say really quickly, thank you so much for your support. If you've been watching this year, I appreciate it. Everyone who has watched, shared, liked, subscribed, commented, thank you so much. I have a lot planned for 2024. If you were to subscribe, that'd be cool. If not, that's okay. I will leave a link down in the description if you want to make your own ranking list, and please feel free to tell me what albums you listened to this year and which ones you enjoyed, which ones you didn't enjoy, and which ones you like that I didn't list, and which one was your favorite. So I will see you next year. Oh yeah, and my link tree will be down below if you want to follow me elsewhere. So